organizations in Nigeria have urged President Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency over the country's security situation. The appeal was made during a World Press Conference held in Abuja on Monday. The executive director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Musa, while addressing a press conference in Abuja on Monday, expressed deep concern over the spate of insecurity across the nation. He has therefore stressed the urgent need for the government to take concrete steps to curb this crisis. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale is now here to discuss this development and ways to tackle the menace. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Newsday as always.
It's a pleasure being here as usual.
Right, let's get straight into it. Last year we declared a state of emergency on food security. Now this proposal to declare a state of emergency on insecurity. Does it have any bearing if we declare a state of emergency or not?
Well, it shows the level of concern of the CSOs. But like you rightly suspected, what does that do to us? We are neck deep in this, and we know the problems. And the CSOs have done their work very well. They laid out everything. But you see, they are not alone in this. We have always had a very vibrant press, which I'm very proud of. And you see how they have been laying out all the issues on insecurity incessantly. Almost at the stage that some people are saying that it's being over-reported. I don't think it's being over-reported, but it is something that is not going away, and it's happening on a daily basis. Today, a friend sent me a note that some traditional rulers, chiefs, were murdered in around the kitchen area. So that is not on. But you see, let us look at their proposal. They are not crying wolf where there is none. Get me? Because the wolf of insecurity is around the gate and ready to devour all of us. But they started with one point, that the government must live up to its responsibilities. And then they followed with must declare a state of emergency. I think they have done their duty. Government should look at everything they said there. There are no waste. There's nothing to be sent to the waste basket in all what they said. And I believe they said it in good faith. But if you say the government declares a state of emergency, on the lighter side, these people will be the first to say that state of emergency to cripple people's right of movement, right of this, right of that. You see, so it's a bait and a challenge. Government should refuse to swallow the bait and declare state of emergency, but accept the challenge. Let's leave it at that for now.
Mr. Sobowale, when I went through this publication and whatnot, all the numbers were so alarming from the time the president took office up until now, the level of kidnappings and everything that we've seen. And I'm wondering, when you look at the 12 measures which were outlined, stating that the president should adopt these measures, would you make any modification, or do you think that it's fine as it is?
They are very constructive criticism. Okay, I will just highlight one or two. Okay, the numbers. If you look at the numbers, what do I call them? They are disheartening. You won't be able to do. In fact, some Nigerians who live abroad, when they read this sort of thing, that's why some of them don't want to come home. And when you see them come home, they wonder how you are still on your legs or how you move around. But thank God, there's no Armageddon yet. But the point they are trying to make is that government should look back on efforts it has made before. Like, for example, there was a contract for almost ₦500 billion for surveillance in Abuja, which has failed. The Buhari regime has found 200 people guilty of financing terrorism. Nothing has been done for them. So they are trying to tell government to put its house in order, and that government should not abdicate responsibility on insecurity. It does not need it's an elected government. The CSOs are not our parliament, they are not our elected representatives. But they are just for their civil liberties civil organization, and they are doing their work. Government itself should step up its act. Government itself should step up its act. Because you see, this thing, it's not only a Nigerian issue, it's a regional issue. See, the withdrawal from the ECOWAS of Mali, Burkina Faso, is significant because we are all in the Sahel. And the Sahel, according to statistics I stumbled on, has the largest population of young people in the world. You get me? About 65% of young people in the world, around 25 or another, are in the Sahel. And you know what is going on? There's insecurity. It's young people that you know that they recruit into all these areas. And the Sahel is characterized by conflict, overpopulation, and insecurity. That is our area. So it's not as if anybody is exaggerating. These guys are not exaggerating. They are saying the obvious. You get me? And this should not be lost in plain sight to the government. The government should do something urgently. You cannot stress the emphasis on urgency. And those guys have made specific suggestions on specific issues, which, in my view, government should take serious cognizance of and act on them.
And I'm glad you mentioned that they're issues. I just want to spell them out. They said banditry in the northwest, farmer herder violence in the middle belt, secessionist struggles in the southeast, piracy in the south coast, just to name a few. So it almost...
we all know that.
We all know that. No, I just
I like the way they spelled it out.
Because it's
even
coming
other
from
things,
every direction.
Other things.
Yes.
This, the ones you read out, you read further. There are some you have not mentioned here.
I did mention kidnapping.
So they were thorough.
They were very thorough in this. And one of the points they made is that we're yet to see our service chiefs being given deadlines, being given targets and goals to meet. Do you think that it's time for us to publicize these conversations, that if there are security conversations happening, I know some aspects of security are confidential. We expect that. But do you think it's now time for them to publish that these are the timelines we're working with, these are the goals and the targets we've been given, just to inspire confidence?
Okay. Given your choice of what? Timelines. Somebody, an important Nigerian, gave a timeline. That's the Sultan of Sokoto. They said people are not happy, and when people are not happy, it is dangerous for political stability. He said maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. That's the timeline. These guys, they cannot give a timeline because they don't have the means of enforcing their timeline. It's like backing at the moon. But then, time is not on the side of this government or anybody who's in charge of this. See, I always talk of government. A government is any government that successfully upholds a claim to the exclusive use of physical force in enforcing its rule within a given territorial area. What these people are saying that it is the duty of government to protect people. If it does not do so, it is abdicating responsibility. And the circumstances are to be imagined rather than felt.
I know why you're pointing at me, and I accept it.
So because there are some things you cannot say in full.
Yeah.
But then they are there, and they have pointed out the danger. And they are not crying hoof, that is not.
Mr. Sobowale, based on how thorough you've described this report and this call, don't you think that it would be a sign of good faith or for the government to actually go ahead and declare the state of emergency and act on at least that part, get that part right, and then we can now start to see maybe results on the other bits? But don't you think that this very opening statement of declare state of emergency should be honored?
No, that was not their first statement. It was second. The first statement was that government should honor its responsibility and protect people.
Okay, the second statement. Thank you.
The second state of emergency. I don't buy that. You see, she will make a mockery of government. They don't know government will do that. Do you get me? What they even put what government should do there. Reappraise its strategy on insecurity, reappraise its personnel. You get me? Somebody mentioned about these army chiefs and all that. Yeah, but you know the tradition, the last regime, when they fired the military chiefs for inefficiency, they gave them ambassadorial posts. And we have a new set of people And see, the ball is in the court of government. You know what it should do to keep itself in order. You get me? Nobody is frightening anybody. But those who seize power in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, said ECOWAS has failed in attending to its goals of economic development, social progress, and cultural integration, and instead is pandering to foreign powers. Foreign powers are the colonial masters before, which we have gone back, begging for support financially, politically, and culturally. Those were their reasons. Those reasons can be given by any state in any ECOWAS member state.
Mr. Sobowale, very quickly before we go, and I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Atiku Abubakar, who's sent out a tweet saying, and I think it's better for me to quote it, he's saying Tinubu is playing fiddle with Nigeria while Nigeria is drowning in the ocean of insecurity. To imagine that the commander-in-chief is on a so-called private visit while kidnappers kill a nursing mother and grandmother in Abuja for failing to pay 90 million ransom and 2 monarchs in a kitty, among others. He goes on and on. What I'm using this as to exemplify my question, to say, is the body language from the current administration, is it right? Very briefly, are we getting the right type of body language?
You see, what Atiku said, it's like saying the ancient Roman emperor fiddling while Rome was burning. He did not know, but it's something similar. Yes, that is the same viewpoint that the civil resources have. And it's the same viewpoint many Nigerians have. You see, they say the National Assembly is resuming today. The way they do things is as if everything is normal. Everything is normal. It is a wrong attitude. It is a wrong message. It is the wrong signal. And they should do something about that. But first and foremost, let them arrest the insecurity. That is the business of government, legitimately. Or else to be seen as abdicating responsibility. And once that happens, the government is on its own.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your insight. As always, Mr. Dayo, thank you for joining us.